Gunslinger, Scott Hartsock. Makes that final turn out in front. Oh, and there's a problem with Carolina Crusher. Gunslinger wins. Crusher had some trouble making that last turn.
Here you go, and look at Gary Porter, and it's not very often that Gary gets beat off the line. But I got to tell you the truth, Scott Hartsock drilled him out of the hole, so he's already trying to make up ground. Now, Gary made up a little ground here on the straightaway, I thought, as he really got himself in a decent shape on the final turn. But again, when you take the turn and look, and you see you're in trouble already, you just got to let it all hang out. So he got a little out of shape, but frankly, he was beat at that point anyway. Hartsock was brilliant.
He really was. A great run, showed his horsepower, and really showed a lot of cool and calm in making those turns. But Scott, we've gotten a note up here in the booth. Something's going on with Gunslinger.
And we don't know exactly what it is. You know, I was wondering coming in if we weren't going to see a little more breakage than normal because of just the sheer distance and the difficulty of this course. And the word is that despite the victory, Hartsock has got problems. He'll not be back. Crusher will be back in the next round despite losing. Now look at this matchup. Remember, it was a blind draw. This could have been the world final match. We're going to see it here in the second round.
Wow, Dennis Anderson, you know he's got the championship, but he really wants to win here in St. Louis. You can see that in his eyes. He talked about the problems that he's having with his back. We certainly hope that he's feeling okay, because it really does shake you around a little bit, especially on this course. You see the checkered flag on the back? He's got that for winning the race a week ago, but the flag used to belong to that man, Bulldozer. And Tom Mintz, and Bulldozer gets a lot of air, as he usually does, around that turn here. It's Gravedigger.
They're even. They're dead even.
They are dead even. We will see how they negotiate this final turn. Digger does it very, very smooth, but so does Tom Mintz. He's got some horsepower. Let's see.
Oh, my.
That's too close to call. That is awful. Oh, my.
We're going to get it on the ice, Mike. I got to tell you, this is now the rivalry in monster truck racing. The superstar for years, the icon of the sport, Dennis Anderson. He kind of got himself slapped around a little bit here a few weeks ago on Motor Madness when Tom Mintz came in and dominated. It's meant a lot to Anderson to come back and beat him. And I'll tell you, he goes all out against this guy. What a race.
And we hear Dennis Anderson has been declared the winner.
That was the most incredible race I think we've seen all season.
I know it. It was in the second round. I couldn't believe it being Tom. We kind of had a little heated discussion back here in the pit. Tom felt like they got robbed, or Tom's dad did. So they robbed him and they gave it to Gravedigger. I told him I wanted to see a replay. They said he didn't hit the cars, didn't do something right. But I don't want him to give me a darn thing, especially here in the finals. Because right now I'm kind of ticked off, but I could care less. I'm going to win the championship anyway. I don't care how bad they cry. But I daggone sure don't want to take nothing from nobody and them hand it to me, and I don't want these guys in the pit to think that. All they're doing is pointing their fingers at me right now. My temperature's up a little bit, and I'm a little ticked off. Normally I don't get ticked off, but I ain't liking it right now.
Keep the attitude and go win some more.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dennis.
Okay, so Bulldozer not happy. And actually in that replay, it showed like he might have finished a little bit ahead of Dennis Anderson, but the story is he got some points of infractions here by not coming over these crush cars.
Well, and that's exactly what the replay is going to show you, and that's he did not get both the front wheels over the obstacle. And again, it's not a DQ, but it is a time penalty right there. That's where he lost it.
That's what hurt him.
One of the closest races we've seen all season for a quarterfinal match.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're saying I didn't hit the cars, both front tires. It looked awful close to me. You know, it was a tough race. It's probably going to be the best race of the night. It's too bad we come out on the wrong end.
And what do you think about that? I mean, you felt you hit both? Could you feel them underneath your tires?
I felt I do. How do you get air? If you watch the video, how do you get air in the left side of the truck if you didn't hit the ram?
And then as far as the finish is concerned, you guys were an inch apart.
Yeah, I know. It looked to me like I won on the video, and it definitely looked to me like I hit him with both front tires. I didn't hit him with much of the left side, but, you know, he's a great competitor, and I lost to one of the best. And we'll get them next time.
The world of monster trucks has a little controversy once in a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does.
That was a tough call for the guys. That was really a tough call.
It really was. Our quad showdown is coming up next. Stay tuned.
You can catch the excitement of TNN Motor Madness live. Pace Motorsports action coming up, taking it on the road. The U.S. Hot Rod Monsters invade the Midwest in July. Terre Haute's getting ready for a Battle Royal July 16th and 17th at the Vigo County Fairgrounds. The Monster Jam SummerSlam World Tour. Tickets at pacemotorsports.com.
Time now for our collision course. Remember last week? A lot of collisions. Now we're down to the Quad Wars finals. It has come down to New Orleans and St. Louis. St. Louis with the advantage there at home. As you look through the standings, both of these teams have had great years, and they're hoping to end their seasons on a positive note. The red marks St. Louis. The white marks New Orleans. You haven't seen Quad Wars before? Well, the only quads that really matters are the ones out in front. And this homestanding St. Louis crowd not liking what it's seeing as New Orleans kind of busting out to a little bit of a lead here, and here comes St. Louis on the way back.
You know, the thing is, if New Orleans is able to win this first heat, then St. Louis gets in a position where they have to win the second heat and the feature to claim the championship because they're coming in 20 points behind to start the night. So a critical race right off the bat for Richie Tompkins and Team New Orleans, and Richie cracks the whip and gets out front quick.
Richie Tompkins of New Orleans is out in front, and St. Louis will be trying to track him down, but it's not looking good for them right now. There's the checkered flag. Heat 1 goes to Team New Orleans, so the visitors come away with the first heat, but we've still got another heat left to go. We'll have more Quad War action for you. Heat 2, St. Louis tries to even things up in a moment.
Want to have a better save.
Mike Hogwood, Scott Douglas, and Dan Moriarty in St. Louis as we get ready for Heat 2 of Quad Wars. That is Team St. Louis in red, Team New Orleans in white. They won the first heat, and so I would think that St. Louis really determined here, Scott.
Doesn't get any simpler than this. If St. Louis can't win this heat and then the main event, New Orleans will leave the TWA Dome as the Pace Motorsports TNN World Quad Wars Team Champions. It's a must-win for St. Louis, and Nick Granlund and his teammates have busted out of the gate with a huge lead early. They know they have to win this race.
Nick Granlund has really found a home here in St. Louis and has had a great year leading this team. And as you see, another one of the teammates there kind of blocking him a little bit. They're 1 and 2. Nick knows he's got to go. Nick Granlund will be trying to take it home and even it all up for Team St. Louis. Here comes New Orleans. You can see them in the background there, but there's still a ways to go. Oh, and a wheel comes off.
Look at that. Granlund gets off looking at the wheel. Totally disgusted. Nonetheless, it is St. Louis still out in front. So Granlund busts a wheel, but it is his teammate, John Rosenbaum, who is able to get out in front as Tompkins came and finally took advantage. It's going to be a two-man race, remember. St. Louis has to win this, and right now New Orleans has the lead. And I'll tell you, a little showtime there from Tompkins. He got in the air, kind of twisted his body and laughed at him. This race isn't over.
But Rosenbaum is